Hey everybody, it's Matt from nsickness.org. Today I'm going to talk about how you identify histamine reactions. First, I'm going to go over my experiences personally, experiences I've had with my daughter as well. I'm going to talk about how you must increase awareness to escape this condition. If you don't, you won't escape histamine issues or mast cell issues. I'm going to talk about the symptoms that you'll get on histamine reactions in your body, your mind, other symptoms that could signify you're having a histamine reaction, help you identify the irritant that caused it. And I'm going to talk about how your body always tells you, always gives you a sign. You just got to learn how to pay attention to it. And I'm going to talk about how this can be helpful for various conditions. It's not just simply about people who have histamine intolerance and mast cell activation. Histamine reactions happen with nearly everyone that has a chronic illness. Autoimmune disease patients, people who are struggling with chronic gut issues. If you have an illness that is in quote-unquote an invisible illness or anything that's a chronic inflammatory related illness, it can be definitely driven by these histamine reactions, okay? So after that, I'll go over the key points to remember, but let's start off with my experiences with my daughter. So I had been diagnosed with autoimmune disease when I was 20, lost 80 pounds, rashes all over my body, couldn't go to the bathroom for 2+ years. They found a parasite in my liver gallbladder area. Lots of experience with health issues. And, my daughter as well had all kind of reactions to everything, to the point where she even had seizures. We had to remove her from a school, multiple places we lived. So I'm very, very well aware of what histamine reactions look like and the different forms that they can take. And that's why I feel I'm experienced enough to be able to make a video like this for you that can help you. So first we'll talk about, you must increase awareness to escape this condition. If you do not understand what is happening when the body tells you these things, you will not be able to escape the condition. It could be a cough, a sniffle, or a stuffy nose, it could be itchiness, tingling on the skin, it could be a flushing of the face, it could be, all these things that I'll mention here, but you must make sure you make the connections between what you consumed, what you inhaled, okay, what you took, and how you feel. If you don't make these connections, you're going to be a victim of the situation forever. And unless you make these connections, it's extremely difficult to escape this symptom cycle. It's just one after another, one reaction after another causing issues. So first, symptoms in the body. Body, you can have tingling in the skin. You can have the desire to urinate. You can have dryness under the eyes. You can have redness of the skin, blush of the face. You can have stomach issues, stomach-related cramps, bloating, gas, etc. You could have blurred vision, you could have brain fog, fatigue, etc. Mind symptoms, like I said, brain fog, hyperactivity, inability to sleep, OCD-like kind of thoughts where you can't get off the same thought over and over again, fear, feeling of darkness, being alone, depression. All these things could come from a histamine reaction. I used to have anxiety attacks after foods. My throat would swell up. I would go into some more of the body reactions, throat swelling, coughing, as I said, the stuffy nose, the gloss over the eyes, there's various ways you can indicate these things. Other symptoms, I've noticed that when people get into certain environments that triggered them in the past, they can start to show symptoms right away, quicker and quicker, the more and more they go into these environments. For example, my daughter had to be removed from a school because her left eye started crossing inward only at the school building, okay? Initially started happening on a Friday. Next week it was a Thursday and Friday. The week after it was a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The week after it was a Tuesday, to the point where I had to remove her from school because the reactions to these things will get more and more progressed the more you expose yourself to these things. So initially, when you have these reactions, and it's kind of tough to be able to tell, but as you continue to consume these things, the reactions get stronger and stronger. It should be more and more evident. So it could be anything, literally to the point where an eye is crossing, or you have to urinate frequently, or you feel this tingling on the skin, the dryness of the eyes, the blurred vision, the racing mind, the depression, the darkness feeling, the list goes on. I mean, if you have any change in symptoms that are happening after you consume something, after you're in an environment that has a fragrance or something you can smell, right? Something you took supplement-wise, pharmaceutical-wise, if you're having change in symptoms, this is usually due to a mast cell reaction, okay? And mast cells secrete histamine and other inflammatory chemicals these inflammatory chemicals are what are responsible for the symptoms. The symptoms are always driven by inflammation, okay? And the inflammation happens because of some type of trigger. It could be triggers in your diet, your environment, your emotional triggers. It could be physical exercise. It could be lots of things that could trigger you. I have a video on top 22 triggers of mast cell activation. Definitely watch that. That'll go over all the different things that will trigger you if you have histamine or mast cell issues. So you could have all kind of symptoms that can arise. The key is identifying where symptoms get worse and then looking at what you did. And the easiest way to be able to do that is creating a dietary or symptom log, okay? You write down what you ate on one side, write down what you took, and then in the middle you draw a line, and on the right-hand side you write down how you felt. And then if your symptoms get worse, you have to correlate it with what you were exposed to or consumed or took. If you don't, you will be stuck in this endless cycle thinking that you're a victim of the situation, it's out of your control, you know, I need more supplements, I need to keep stacking stuff on top of stuff to get better. But the real truth is, less is better with mast cell activation, less is better with histamine intolerance. You must make sure all these things you're doing are not triggering histamine responses, mast cell reactions, making your symptoms worse in any way, and you have to do it by documenting everything and making sure it's all airtight. Otherwise you can end up doing something every single day that's causing you problems and preventing you from healing, preventing your immune system from calming down, okay? Your body always tells you, always gives you some indicator. If you're doing something that's making it worse, okay, consuming something in the presence of something, it'll give you some type of notification. I don't care if it's a cough, if it's allergies, you know, it's sneezing, stuffy nose, eyes get dry, eyes start running, itchy on the skin, you start to feel anxious or weird. All these things are possible. This is your body telling you something's wrong, okay? And you got to do something about it or it's going to keep getting worse every time you're exposed to this thing, okay? And key point that's not in my notes, but I want to mention, you have to rotate everything if you're doing things. You don't want to eat the same foods every day, take the same supplements every day, take the same medication every single day. These things eventually trigger mast cell symptoms and histamine release, okay? So you got to pay really close attention. And you got to rotate things. If you don't rotate things, it'll be next to impossible to identify what's causing you the problem, because you'll be taking the same things every single day and you'll be stuck in this never-ending reaction, really. So these concepts of how to identify histamine reactions, mast cell reactions, is helpful for various conditions. It can be helpful for mast cell, histamine, autoimmune, gut health issues. I've even had people who had frequent urination. We use these concepts and it helped dramatically with. Nearly all diseases and conditions are caused by inflammation. Inflammation is caused primarily by the mast cells secreting of inflammatory chemicals. So really the main target for all these chronic illness is mast cells. They're all the mast cells are the main target for all these chronic illnesses. And you have to identify what the person's already doing that's making things worse. If you don't, then you're just throwing stuff on top of stuff and you're not going to have the type of success you want. Have to make sure that you identify what is making things worse that the person's already doing. I repeat, or you will not have the success that you want, okay? So the key points to remember, I have plenty of experience with this. Myself, my daughter, these reactions were so extreme between us that, you know, she even had seizures in response to exposure to fragrances, okay? And even though the doctors debated that it was caused by histamine, I got a blood or a plasma histamine level done right after that seizure. 16 times the reference range, 19.6 on the max of a 1.6 reference range. So even inhaling various fragrances, having seizures is even a response to some exposure. So you know, histamine is a clear indicator that something's wrong, right? When you have a histamine response, when you have these extreme responses and exposure to things, it's a sign that something's wrong, that you're inhaling, you're eating, you're doing, you're consuming. So this can be helpful for various conditions. It's the way that I was able to get my daughter out of extreme circumstances from the point where she was having seizures and reactions, unable to go to school, she'd be homeschooled, we had to move 2-3 different places. But the recognition of these triggers was the key to getting her 90% better without any supplements, okay? I could have did all the supplements I wanted. When she was being triggered still consistently, there was no progress, I can tell you none, okay? So this is helpful for various conditions, as I said. So if you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out. This is my niche. It's my specialty is histamine, mast cell activation, etc. If you want to reach out to me, go to my website, endsickness.org. I've got plenty of information on there. You can find my email, my contact information, reach out to me. Also, feel free to put your comments in YouTube, reach out to me on YouTube, I'm happy to respond there. Please note, this is not meant to be medical advice whatsoever. This is for educational purposes only. It's for helping you, it's not meant to give you any type of medical advice whatsoever. It's for educational purposes only. It's based on my experiences I have with my daughter, my clients, the 20 years of scientific research I've done, etc. So, hope you've enjoyed this video, and feel free to reach out if you need anything. Thanks everybody, and take care.